Hello, guys, and welcome back. We're here, ready with the hardest worker, the offlaner here from the true rock hauler of the team for. I want to call them Danish Bears. I'm so sorry. Gaimin Gladiators. It's going to be Ace here, the offlaner from Gaimin Gladiators. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, thanks.
Yeah. Fantastic games there. Do you mind if we dive into a little bit of Dota? I'm curious about certain things.
So go ahead.
How's the drafting environment for your team? Like who drafts? Who clicks the buttons?
I mean, it's mainly just our coach, to be honest. Like
Okay.
he has his strats, and then sometimes he asks for some if he wants some suggestion or something. He would ask, but
Hmm.
mostly he's like doing the drafting.
Does he share it with you? Like, do you talk during the drafting phase?
Like we draft so many games together now, so we are kind of all on the same page. We
Right.
kind of know what he's gonna do. Sometimes we talk a little bit, but mostly not so much.
Okay. Because I wanted to ask in that third game, there was in the beginning of the draft, right? You guys banned the DP and the Sand King, and then the IO was left in the pool, right? And there was a lot of deliberation there. Is it okay if you could share what you were deliberating? Obviously, the IO got picked in the end, but what were the options there that you were thinking about?
I mean, for these small things, I think it's just him doing it. To be honest, like
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
I think
Sorry.
though, like if I was in the pool, we'd probably just thinking that
All right.
that's
Let's ask you about the game then. I'm going to ask you about the Jukiro performance because that was that was a treat to watch, honestly. Uh, how did you feel when you first picked up the Ags and Miracle died activating BKB and the Macro Pyre? Did that feel good to you particularly?
Yeah, I mean, I was watching him. I'm pretty sure he didn't really know that I had X. He was like clicking
Yeah.
BKB and he's just standing in it. And I'm like, okay, he's dying now.
So,
That's
so,
that's the cool thing about the X. People kind of, they don't really expect it, and then before they actually did,
so
when you click
normally,
BKB, you're like, I'm safe.
of course, normally you're on the receiving end of that as you were previously a core player to this for quite a long time, right? Like,
Yeah.
how frustrating is that? Like, you're a Huskar player, you have BKB, you're unstoppable, right? And then you just die to like Jakiro. Like, that's gotta suck, right? Like,
Uh,
how
that's
satisfying is
rough.
that
That's
for you as a support, though, or as a off
It's
lane,
an
of
offlane.
course?
I mean, it's especially for Husk, it's rough though because he's such a slow hero. It's like once the Macrophile is on, and he's just done.
Mm.
So I don't know. I just know how it feels, because I played as Husker. So it's also easy for
Yeah.
me to like do it to him, because I know how it feels.
In that last game, we noticed that there was, especially in the early game, like your lane went really well. They prioritized a lot of farm on you. Was that something that your team communicated actively? Like you were pointed, like I almost have Ags, like let's fight on my Ags timings, or did you it just happen to be that way?
Nah, like you would always communicate if you have some timings coming up, and it's like play around these
Hmm.
timings,
Were
always
they
play around
playing
that.
around you specifically? Like because Duracho was playing extra aggressive, he was sacking himself for a bit of farm for you as well, or was that just kind of Duracho?
It's like you kind of play around any timing. It's like I have a timing coming up, we play around me. If some other guy has a timing, like I don't know, maybe Duracho has a BKB timing, then we're gonna play around them, something like this.
Mm.
Uh,
Do you feel like the timings like because you play a lot of interesting offlaners, let's say, right? Jakiro definitely one of the most common ones that you play. We saw your Vipo recently; that was exciting. Do you feel like that throws the enemy team off in terms of the tempo that you usually can bring to the table? Like you can surprise them more often.
I mean, for sure, like the fact that we can pick some Meepo and like we have offline player who plays it, it's definitely have some like surprises, and people have to be aware of it, right? Uh, I mean, I'm not gonna like say what else we have, because,
Of
but
course, yeah.
anything can happen.
I mean,
yeah,
if you've watched you play as carry, you've played as so many different heroes, dude. You used to have the weirdest carry pool in the world. So I think I don't know if you can surprise people anymore. I'm really excited for what you can bring. Is that something you do in the offlane as well? Did you plan a weird pool of heroes as well in the offlane, like you did as a carry? Did you try to expand yourself?
I mean, I think I just play every hero, to be honest. It's
Wow.
like
Okay.
I also on offlane I kind of play every hero, but it's like the way we're drafting, like it's we're not drafting that many different heroes, right? But it's just how we're playing. But for example, if I was drafting, I would probably just be drafting new hero every game. I don't know. I just like playing many different heroes.
I wanted to ask because you guys have some always really interesting lanes, right? This is always something I think maybe from your coach back on Viking GG, but like your decisions to try lane, your decisions to go 1v1. Like you had an amazing game 3, right, in lane. You were like, your denies were crazy in the first like 10 minutes. I think you had like 24 denies or something, like completely stomped the lane. Game 2, of
Mm,
course, was a bit more difficult, right? The 1v1 lane. How do you guys like
mm.
decide when to try lane, when to not? Like who makes those calls?
Uh, I would say again, like it's like mostly our coach who do the picks and like has the strategy.
Mhm.
But we definitely like we need to talk about it because there's also us playing. Like we did it so many times now, so we're all on the same page about what's gonna work and stuff. Like, do we have good trial and zeros? Like, what are our matchup? Like in second game, for example, like I wasn't sure if Tide was a DP meta is this bad, but it is pretty fucking bad. You know, it was not really good in this case. We should probably not try. You know.
Why do you guys do as many tri lanes? Do you think they're actually more viable than people give them credit for? I think you're the team I see the most with tri lanes.
Yeah, I mean they can work out. That's it's like it's
That's
good you surprise your enemy. Like that's they don't really know what's happening and they're out of their comfort zone. We are in our comfort zone. That's like the biggest thing of it, I think.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty cool
Right.
as well. Of course, laning with Tofu, you played with him for a while, right? Back on Hellbear Smashes, a couple other teams. What's it like when you get to play with someone for that long and you move to a different team, but you still have that dynamic? Does it help a lot? Do you find, or do you kind of like being on a new team and a new experience instead?
No, for sure it helps a lot. I think like if a guy's your lane partner, you need to have really good synergy, talk well together, and like this is very important. And before we were lane partner, but I was 1 and he was 5. Now I'm 3 and he's 4, which is kind of funny. So we already played the other side of the lane, right? So we know how it feels from the other side. So now we're playing, now we have really good. I don't know how you can say that, but it's really good for us. We know what to do in the lane very well now.
Well, thank you, Ace. I think you've revealed a lot of nice secrets about how your team dynamics work, and we really appreciate it. Your team played fantastic
Oops,
today.
that's not good.
No, don't worry, it's good. We like a talkative firm.
My coach is gonna fucking, it's gonna maul, it's gonna disparate me.
Is there, before we close the interview, is there anything you'd like to say to the fans of Gaimin Gladiators, your fans in general?
Yeah, like big shout out to Gaimin Gladiators first of all, like for the support. They're doing amazing jobs, like ever since we got them. Really cool. And yeah, everybody out there watching at home and supporting us. Thanks a lot, and hope you're gonna keep doing it.
Well, thank you for that, Ace, and thank you for your time. We wish you luck in your next match, and congrats again on the win against Nigma.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye, Ace.
Yeah, stop wasting my time.